Something a lot of people have been talking about for a very long time is the MMA guru and how much fighters either like or do not like him. So I thought today we would make a fun tier list video taking a look at a bunch of people involved in UFC, whether that's fighters, referees, journalists, don't care, and we're going to rank them today on how likely they are to beat up the MMA guru or want to start an altercation with the MMA guru when they see him at like a UFC event on the street. If they were to see him, what is going to happen? And that's what we're going to be ranking them with today. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channel. So I got the idea for this when I was watching a stream clip video for MMA, and he was talking about, I was kind of listening to it in the background, so it's important to note what I'm about to say. I'm paraphrasing, I don't have the exact quote down, but he said something to the extent of, he was curious about how fighters would react if people want to beat him up because of all the crap that he talks online, just to see how big of a guy he was and to see if people were actually going to have an altercation with him after realizing, like, that he could mog them a little bit, basically. So I thought that'd make for a fun tier list video because, again, the guy is always talked about through MMA YouTube. Regardless, the intro is way too long. Let's get into it, starting off with Marc Goddard. I don't know. I don't know too much about, like, Marc Goddard in his personal life. He does seem like a little bit of an angry guy, and the MMA guru consistently calls him a big idiot. He makes fun of him. He talks about his IQ, things like that. I'm going to go with possible fight over here. And I forgot to mention, of course, the tiers over here are on site, possible fight, teetering the line, finds him kind of funny, and pleasant interaction, okay? Dana White. You know, I think that there's no way that Dana's not aware of him, right? I think that Dana really hates him, but I don't think Dana would do anything about it, and Dana would just be very dismissive about him. Be like, oh, what? I don't even know who that is. Someone can point out, like, hey, the MMA guru is over there, and Dana would be like, who? Who are we talking about right now? That's what he would do. So where would you put him? Maybe I have to make an NA tier. Yeah, I just made it right here, and I think that I have to put Dana in NA because he's not even going to really acknowledge him, right? He would just walk straight past him. Now let's get into Alonzo Menifield. Man, you're definitely teetering the line with Alonzo because while Alonzo doesn't really strike us as a guy who would just go around trying to beat people up, the amount of insults that comes out of this guy's mouth towards Alonzo Menifield is insane. Just straight up calling him stupid. Every single breakdown that I watch of the guy, he's talking about, oh, well, Alonzo can do this, his opponent can do that, but Alonzo is so stupid. So he's definitely teetering the line with that one. Now let's talk about Bobby Green. Bobby Green is definitely a guy who would fight. I think it might be on site, especially because he makes fun of him in the impressions. I love watching the guy's impression videos. I love watching the guy's breakdowns, and something that we often see is Bobby Green. I'm going to put on site for Bobby Green. Bobby Green looks like the type of guy to want to, like, confront people, definitely. Let's talk about Bo Nickel. Bo's an interesting one because historically I would have said, okay, Bo is one really salty and vengeful guy. But he seems to have gotten over that loss, and now he's like, I don't really care what people think. People can be critics. Is he just saying that for the camera, or is he kind of like secretly still that guy, or has he actually gotten over it? I don't know. I'm going to go with teetering the line for Bo Nickel. Teetering the line for sure. Daniel Cormier. I'm putting Daniel Cormier at possible fight, at the top of possible fight. Daniel Cormier, while I love DC, I think he's gotten way too much hate over the years, the guy's got some fight in him. The guy, if you poke him the wrong way, and over the years, we know that he has, he consistently talks about Daniel Cormier and how bad his commentary is, how the stupid things that he says on commentary, and I can see that getting under Daniel Cormier's skin, and Daniel would definitely have, like, a Jake Paul interaction where he's like, you don't want to play with me. You don't want to play with me. You don't want to do this. You need to sit down right now, young man. He would have that kind of interaction. So I'm going to go with possible fight for Daniel Cormier. He's not like, while again, I really like DC. He's not this, like, big, cuddly, nice guy that he puts in front of the camera sometimes. Dominic Cruz. I don't know. I've heard him make fun of Dominic Cruz's commentary, but not, like, too much beyond that. I would probably put, like, pleasant interaction. I don't know. I can't see anything really going wrong there. Francis Ngannou. Oh, boy. Okay, this could go one of two ways because you have the impressions where he makes fun of Francis Ngannou, right? I have watched stream clips where there are donations flying with him doing impressions of Francis Ngannou. Now, the question is, how would Francis Ngannou react to that? I'm on Team Dana White over here and saying that Francis Ngannou is not a nice guy. I do not believe that he is. I see the way that he hurts people in the octagon. Conversation for another time. I know that's the point before you comment down below. But Francis puts on this big, I am the most caring, humble guy that's to ever exist in the UFC ever. Oh, man. I'm going to put Francis Ngannou impossible fight right be in front of Daniel Cormier. I think it's more likely that Francis Ngannou, stares him down than not. Dan Hardy. We know Dan Hardy hates the MMA Guru. But I feel like Dan, for some reason, I just don't think Dan would do anything. I don't know. I could also see him. Am I remembering something correctly? Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Am I remembering something correctly in saying that Dan Hardy was playing the Daniel Cormier route? You know when Daniel Cormier did the, oh yeah, so there's this guy named the MMA Guru, and I don't even really know who the MMA Guru is, but this is what the MMA Guru said. Am I remembering something like that for Dan Hardy? Something like he took down a YouTube... No, it's not. I'm remembering some beef, and it was dumb beef, but I don't remember exactly what it was. So honestly, I'm going to put him in the NA. Now, Umar Nurmagomedov. This is going to be the case with all the Dagestan brothers. We know how they are. Look what just happened with Dale and Dennis. I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong. I'm over here in Canada, and something that we definitely have to say over here, which I 100%, 1000% live by, okay? 1000% is that nobody should ever fight anybody. We're all nice. We don't believe in self-defense. We don't believe in backing up your words, anything like that. Nobody ever has to face consequences for the words that come out of their mouth, okay? YouTube, I'm very grateful to be on this platform. All I'm saying is that what we've seen is that this particular, I don't know if it's, I don't mean to actually say like Dagestan culture or anything like that, but Team Habib specifically, they have no problem fighting somebody upon insult. So the Umar Nurmagomedovs are going to go on site for sure, right at the top. Ariel Helwani. I'm actually going to put Ariel Helwani in pleasant interaction right above Dominic Cruz. Or no, below, because that he's more likely to have a positive interaction. That's why. We've seen him kind of come around to the MMA Guru a little bit. He's acknowledging the MMA Guru. I highly doubt Ariel Helwani likes the MMA Guru and he's trying to play this he's kind of funny, humble thing. And I think one day you could very well see them actually have a collab together. I don't see Ariel ever saying it. He might throw a couple digs over here, but the interaction in general would be pleasant. John Jones. Would John Jones fight the MMA Guru? 1000%. But here's the question. Would he be more likely to fight him than he would Umar Nurmagomedov and Team Habib? I don't know. I'm more inclined to think yes because of all of the criminal charges and assaulting that John Jones has done. Right? We know he has no issue with this. And, you could argue that the MMA Guru is solely responsible for the downfall of John Jones and Israel Adesanya when I'm talking about the MMA community and fan base. The general public makes fun of John Jones now for his sexuality. I'm not saying whether or not that's funny. I'm not going to comment on it, okay? But I do think that John Jones would definitely do something about it if he saw MMA Guru. I'm going to put him in the on-site tier at the top over here. Islam Makhachev, same as Umar Nurmagomedov. They're definitely going at it over there. Rampage. Oh. Rampage is on site. He literally called out the MMA Guru one time when he was talking about that entire Raja Jackson situation and the particular words that he was using to describe Raja Jackson, commenting on Rampage Jackson as a father. Again, conversation for another time about that specific situation. But I'm sure that he would be giddy to beat up the MMA Guru. Oh, but the thing is, John Jones is he would probably just flat out take pleasure in hurting anybody, let alone somebody that he has a reason to hurt. Oof. Okay, he's at the top with John Jones, but is he more likely than John Jones to fight? I'm going to go with yes. On site for Rampage Jackson. Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson finds him kind of funny. 100%. We know these two have been together. They've had their podcast, their relations. We're definitely putting them in there's nothing but wholesome conversations that they'll have, okay? Jorge Masvidal. Does he even like Jorge Masvidal? How much does he really comment on Jorge Masvidal? I'm not too sure, to be honest. When I was looking to make this video, I was looking through Tapology's favorite fighters and top-ranked fighters and things like that, and I was just saving the PNGs that I was thinking, like, okay, I can remember him commenting on something about this. But Jorge Masvidal, I don't know. I'm actually going to put him in the NA. I'm not sure. We know Masvidal, if he said anything negative about Masvidal, he could say, yeah, Jorge Masvidal doesn't like apple, or I like apples, but Jorge Masvidal doesn't like apples. I think apples are kind of good. So are you saying that apples are bad? Are you saying there's a problem with me because I do like apples? That's the type of thing that Jorge Masvidal would fight you over. But I just don't know if he's ever commented on Jorge Masvidal. I don't know if he likes Jorge Masvidal. You get my point, okay? Josh Emmett makes fun of his appearance consistently. I think he hates Josh Emmett just by the way that he looks. But I don't know too much about Josh Emmett and his impulses. So I'm going to go with teetering the line for Josh Emmett over here because I could see him fighting, I could see him not fighting. Kamaru Usman. He was also responsible for everybody dogging on Kamaru Usman about being on steroids. And there was something, was it Colby or was it the MMA Guru that was talking about the father first? I'm not too sure, but a lot of people started talking about Kamaru Usman being on roids after that video went like mega viral. You know what I can see Usman doing? I can see Usman having an altercation, but not a fight. Where it's like, oh yeah, you said some of these things, huh? You said some of these things. And Kamaru would kind of just like look at you because he knows that he would beat you up and he doesn't need to prove it. Like a John Jones and an Umar Nurmagomedov or Islam Makhachev would need to prove that they can beat you up. I feel like Kamaru Usman would just have his presence there. You know what I mean by that? He would hold himself back, but he would look good. So I don't know if you would put that in like teetering the line. I guess so. I'm going to put him at the bottom of teeter. No, I'm going to put him right in front of Josh Emmett, okay? And now let's talk about Khabib Nurmagomedov. Much more likely than Umar and Islam Makhachev. We're going to leave him right there. Khamzat Chimaev, same deal. I know he's technically not Team Khabib, but with the comments about Dagestan, we're definitely getting a fight from him as well. He's probably right up there with Khabib, actually, to be honest with you. Now, Casey O'Neill. Literally, I've seen so many, like, breakdown. Every single time that he's talked about Casey O'Neill, all I can think about is going, you don't know how hard it is to be a fighter. And she seems very impulsive. She seems very angry. But would she actually do anything? Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to put her in teetering the line as well. I'm going to put her right behind Bo Nickel, okay? Conor McGregor. I feel like Conor might find him kind of funny. I can see Conor laughing at some of the impressions. You know, looking at his phone, listening to impression of himself and going, like, I cannot imitate that laugh at all. The you know, when he gets really high like that. I can see Conor McGregor doing that. I'm going to put him and finds him kind of funny. Raul Rosas Jr. You know, Raul doesn't really strike me as a guy who would just fight somebody on sight. But man, the comments that he's made about him, how could you not dislike him? So I don't know. He seems like he's a chill guy and seems like he wouldn't really fight anybody. So I'm going to go with teetering the line, but at the bottom of teetering the line. Israel Adesanya. If there's one guy, man, that hates the MMA Guru, it's Israel Adesanya. He, more so than John Jones, is responsible for the downfall of Israel Adesanya within the MMA community. But the weird thing is, I don't imagine him wanting to fight the MMA Guru as much as those guys in the S tier. I could see him commenting. Kind of like Kamaru Usman, but way more of a mean way. You know? So I'm going to put Israel Adesanya in possible fight. And I'm going to put him right behind Mark Goddard right there, okay? Michael Chandler. Oh, that's an interesting one too. How would Michael Chandler react? Because you have all of those comments about his kids. You have him calling Michael Chandler stupid, making fun of Michael Chandler. But Michael Chandler has this image to keep up. You know, as the stoic guy. He seems like the type of guy that you would need to dismiss the trolls online like that. So if they were actually forced to interact, what would happen? I have no idea. Because, again, like, we've seen him acknowledge the comments, and he just, I don't remember exactly what he said. He said, like, they're disgusting or something like that. But would he fight over it? I don't know. I'm going to put Michael Chandler in NA. Can't tell you. Ian Gary. What did Ian Gary do with Khamzat Chimaev? I think that's the only altercation that I've seen Ian Gary in. But, again, talking about the cuck chair, making fun of him. I've straight up heard him say, I can't stand Ian Gary, stuff like that. And Ian Gary, I don't know. This is an interesting one too, man. I'm going to go with possible fight for Ian Gary. I can see him starting something. I'm going to put him at the bottom of possible fight, okay? Bilal Muhammad. I know he calls him ugly. I'm sure there's been jokes about who he is, but I can't say that for sure. I'm going to put teetering the line for Bilal Muhammad. I can see that one going either way. I'm going to put him right ahead of Alonzo Menifield, okay? Let's talk about Tracy Cortez. Why did I save the picture of Tracy Cortez? I must have had something in my mind that I remembered him talking about Tracy Cortez. Maybe it's... Is it just the comments about, like, her in her section, like, you know, just about how she's built? Maybe that's why Norma Dumont's there. Yeah, that's probably true. Because the only comments that you hear, but it's not just exclusive to him, it's exclusive to, like, every single MMA fan. Nobody cares about the actual skill set. They just watch particular parts of them when they're fighting and when they're in when they're at the weigh-ins, things like that. So it depends on whether or not they take offense to that or not. So I guess you would have to go teetering the line, right? So I'm going to put them both in the teetering the line. I would imagine that would upset quite a few people, like when all you ever talk about is like, oh, Norma Dumont. You have Norma Dumont, who's actually a good fighter too. That's the thing. You have Norma Dumont, who is a good striker. She's gritty. She has put on some fun performances, but all you ever hear is, oh, Norma Dumont, nice ass. I can see that getting under the skin of some people. Depends whether or not she takes a compliment to it, okay? Brendan Allen. He calls this guy dumb constantly, and I think that Brendan Allen, I could just see a world where Brendan Allen does... I'm not agreeing with the Brendan Allen's dumb thing, okay? I'm not saying that. But I just see Brendan Allen not caring at all and just going, yeah, what the fuck did you say about me? And then just fight. I'm going to go with possible fight for Brendan Allen. I'm going to put him actually right behind Francis Ngannou, Joe Pyfer. We know the guy has a temper on him. We know that he's straight up, like, I've listened to post-fight press conferences for this guy, and he's like, yeah, all these guys talking shit, they can, what do you say, they can get into a bus and drive off a cliff? I definitely could see a possible fight coming from Joe Pyfer. I'm going to put him right in front of Israel Adesanya, Marlon Vera. You're getting a fight out of Marlon Vera with the whole Cheeto's daughter thing. But the sad thing is, I've seen a lot of clips from him too, where he's like, no, I'm not reading this. No, I'm not doing this impression of Cheeto's daughter. Guys, stop doing this. But the whole internet, and I don't know if there's a clip out there that exists with him actually making fun of the daughter. From what I've seen, he's abstained from that. I'm not denying it. But the problem is, everybody thinks, whether it's true or not, that this guy constantly makes fun of Cheeto Vera's daughter, who has there's some sort of disability there, but I'm not sure what exactly it is. And I could definitely see Cheeto Vera going on and fighting 100%. I'm putting Cheeto Vera on the on-site category. I'm actually going to put Cheeto Vera right in front of Bobby Green, okay? Kayla Harrison. Yeah, I've seen this guy always talk about just her straight up being a man, like, oh yeah, hey, MMA guru. Like, she's got to take offense to that. But you kind of have like the Michael Chandler issue where she has this wholesome, I'm a great mom type thing to keep up. I'm not saying she's not a great mom. You know what I mean? That's the image that she kind of presents. I'm one with myself. Nothing could ever bother me. That type of thing. I'm just a competitor. So I'm going to put her, but that probably would like really upset you too, right? I'm going to put her in NA with Michael Chandler. I'm not too sure. Merab Dvalishvili. He calls him ugly all the time. He got really mad at Merab. I would think historically, it depends on what clips Merab would have seen, right? Or Merab's group would have seen. Because I could also see like people around Merab Dvalishvili going, hey, well, this guy's saying this about you. Like, you know, it depends like what your boys think about the MMA guru too. But he's come around to Merab. But Merab also doesn't seem like the guy to just fight somebody on site. I don't know, but he was like really reaming Merab. I don't know. I'm going to put this one in not sure either. NA. I don't know. And Tom Aspinall, we've seen interactions between them. Supposedly Tom Aspinall hates the impressions of Tom Aspinall. And Tom Aspinall's coming back going, no more Mr. Nice Guy. So who knows? Maybe he's going to get pissed off at everybody on YouTube now. I'm going to go with pleasant interaction with Tom. I think if they found each other, he would just be, oh, hello, MMA guru. How are you? You know, just stuff like that. he could just secretly hate him, but I don't think that he would fight them. Maybe he finds them kind of funny. I'm going to go with Pleasant Interaction, bottom of Pleasant Interaction over here, and that is the official tier list, guys, for the fighters that I think would want to fight the MMA Guru. If you guys want to watch another tier list video, then why don't you check out this video on screen right here. I'd love to have you over there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care, everybody.